everybody. I'm here today with Toby Lyons, who is running for School Trustee for Ward 5. I wanted to share with everybody why I wanted to interview Toby. So Toby is running for School Trustee for this upcoming election that's happening on October the 20th. And she's running against two people who are in re-election positions. And so I just thought people don't know you, so this would be a great way for people to get to know you, because you'll be a newbie going against two people who have already played this role. The other reason why that I wanted to have you be interviewed today is because we had a chat last week together, and I just thought you are so knowledgeable in this area of education. Like, you really know what you're talking about. You've had years of experience with this, and you understand the system. And I just think that you would be incredible in this role. It would be amazing. So I just want you to be able to have a voice. Also, we're not having a forum. We are having a forum for the town councillors, but not for the school trustees. So this is just a space for you to be able to let people know what you're about, what your ideas are, your expertise, and just to be able to have a voice. So, and the last thing that I wanted to share before we kind of get into you telling us about yourself is you just had so many awesome ideas. Like, as we were, talking, like, I'm running for town council. And so you were talking about, like, just so many incredible ideas out the community. You just have a lot of knowledge, great ideas, understandings. And I think that you would be so great in this position as school trustee. So tell us about yourself, just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just get into, what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I think anyone who doesn't know me, or anyone who does know me, knows they can find me at my favorite coffee shop. Shout out to Junction 52, yes. Everyone's favorite coffee shop in Raymond, right? So a lot of people know me from the ways I've been involved in the community since I've lived here for 16 years. Mm-hmm. So if you were part of Raymond Track, you know that I helped create that with Lisa Worsley.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we started Raymond Track. Our kids were in soccer, and we decided that we came together realizing that that type of training would be necessary for them and an advantage for their soccer careers. Cool. And there was a hole, right? There was just nothing like that. There's no program like that. Mm-hmm. So we came together and met with the town and just decided to create a club. Cool. And if you're in the homeschooling world, you know me. Because I've been a homeschooler since I moved here, over a decade. Mm-hmm. And then I chaired the Westmont Alternate School Council for years. Yeah. So very much involved there. Yeah. If you're on the Raymond Ag Society historically, you know me. Because that was the first volunteer position I picked when I moved to Raymond. Mm-hmm. I knew I wanted to be a part of the agricultural community and learn as much as I could and volunteer. So I joined right up and worked with Bob and Pam Stewart, who are amazing mentors. Mm-hmm. And if you want to learn how to volunteer and volunteer well, they are the epitome of volunteers. Mm-hmm. They are who you look up to. They are on a pedestal, and they deserve to be on that pedestal. Yeah. They're amazing volunteers for the community.
Yeah. Good people.
Yeah, really good people. Yeah. And so I've just always been involved in those parts of the community. I always wanted to be a part of it. I was new here, and volunteerism is a great way to get to know people.
Totally. Completely and totally it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This town's really good for it.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say this town even this whole area, people are really busy. And most of the time, they're busy volunteering. In fact, I've never met so many people who volunteer, whether it's the church or the hunger campaigns or the flags or the Chamber of Commerce or the Christmas activities, the July 1st activities, through their school councils, fundraising. Many ways. Yeah. People love to give in this community.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I absolutely positively love about Raymond is, I've said this so many times over to so many different people, is that there are so many people in this town who truly care about the community. Absolutely. And they're involved in the community. Absolutely. And I think that is one of the things that makes it so special.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So let's dive in. I just want to ask you some questions. So you were sharing with me about your 3 pillars. So I wanted to ask you, like, your 3, what are your top 3 priorities if elected? Okay. But if you even just want to tell me about your 3 pillars of education, I want to hear about that, because I think it's powerful.
Well, I mean, everyone, when you're running for a position, people want to know what you're about. And
Totally.
I think it's really good to have foundational statements. I think it tells you your core ethics and morality. You can call them your guiding principles. It's your North Star. It's what every decision has to revolve around these points. So my 3 pillars would be, first priority is parental engagement.
Totally
I
agree.
am all about parents.
Totally agree. Love that.
Yeah. I think parents are the primary decision makers for the educational journey of their child. I think they know their child best. I think they're extremely adequately equipped to decide what kind of educational pathway they want their child to have. It's funny because it might sound weird to be a homeschooler and be running for public school, but this division is extremely supportive about homeschoolers. They understand that parents get to pick.
Yeah.
And parents can do it.
Yeah.
So they understand that there's different ways to educate, and it doesn't have to be a single box, a single system. It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there, right?
Yeah.
And so that is just built into this division, that they understand that parents get to be the decision makers. And that is definitely my number 1 priority. The data shows that when you have an engaged parent, your student is successful.
I totally believe that.
Oh,
for sure.
It is. And we see it in sports. We see it in sports when you take your kid and you have that debrief time after a game, or you're having those conversations, or you're kicking the ball with them, or you're showing up in the stands and you're talking about, the things they did in the game, and you're showing up to practices and you're fundraising and you're cheering them. Well, that same thing happens with school. If we have that same energy and passion, and we just put it into education, your students can be more successful. Yeah. So the second pillar would be local decision making.
Totally agree with that one as well. Yeah.
Exactly. And then again, our division is really supportive of these things. They already do that. If you look at our colony schools, we have 19 colony schools. There's more colony schools than there are regular brick and mortar schools in Westman.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. And we have the most colony schools in all of Alberta.
Wow.
And so colony schools are really neat systems. So they have German classes before, and then they have regular school, if you want to call it that, and then they have more German classes before. But there's times where those kids go out and they're working, or they're helping with their siblings. And then colony schools, they absolutely honor the culture and ethics and the morality that those individual colonies have. Family, hugely important. Religion, hugely important. So the colony schools are an example of local decision making, where we work with the colonies and they say, okay, how do you want to set up the school? And so it's representative of that individual local community, that local family unit.
Yeah.
And then when it extends, things like Mountain View School has an ag school. They have student-led classes where they design what they're going to sell, how they're going to sell it. They raise the animals, they butcher the animals, they market the animals. Yeah. They involve kids into drone technology, green towers, and their school revolves around that. So what a great way to utilize those local resources. Right. That was part of our conversation we had before, was how do you utilize your local assets? How do you look at the human resources and the area around you and see it as a positive, not a negative?
What's already here? Yeah. What are the resources that we have, like natural resources, industry, people,
absolutely,
and their talents and skills, and then how can we use those resources in our community to help our community be better and stronger? And it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, you were telling me the story about your backyard. Yeah. And I thought that was a great idea, a great story. Rather than seeing the trees as negative, and rather than seeing it as a burden, you put a pathway through, you recreated it, you saw it as an asset, something valuable to your space, not as a negative. And so I think we have to I think it's valuable to look at your human resources, and instead of thinking that we're limited and we can't do things because we're rural, it's like, no, what can we do because we're rural?
Because we're rural.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said rural.
Rural.
Okay, rural. Gotcha.
We're not urban.
Yes. So what other resources that we have here?
Sorry.
Yeah, and we have a local focus, and our curriculum is or just using the resources that we have here. We know the word rural.
I know, no one can say
it's
it.
A hard word.
We can spell it, but can't say it. That's how you know you're a reader. You can spell it, but you can't say it.
Anyways, yes,
Yeah, and so an example, like we talked about Mountain View, we talked about the colony schools.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the seminary school.
Mm-hmm.
Where else do you see a seminary parked right beside a public school?
Yeah.
And they offer those classes to everyone in the community. It's not limited just part of the LDS community.
Mm-hmm.
You get school credit for it,
which is amazing.
It is. But the idea is we understand that there's a local culture and a local community and a local ethics and a local religion and a local morality system. And so all decision making, think of it, it has to flow through those things. It flows through. How do we engage our parents? How do we bring our parents into the system so we can have more successful students? Because parents are there from the beginning to the end. I love the education system and I love our teachers, but they only have a finite time with a student. But parents are forever.
That's true.
Same thing with local decisions. Put it through that filter. How are we making the decisions? So you think about even education funding. Right now, the local division gets grants.
Okay.
And then the grants are decided. Most of the grants are I want to put this way differently. Some grants are very specific and they can only be used in very specific ways. Okay. Like transportation grants. But other grants, they come in and then the division decides based on its needs where that grant money is going to go.
Right.
So maybe it means we hire more EAs. Maybe because we realize we have so many colony schools and that EAs are a crucial part of the colony education, we have more EAs in that system. Maybe it means more local, creating more individual local classes. But we decide where that goes because as a division, they know their people, their community best, rather than having preset centralized decisions where that funding has to go.
Right.
I'll give you an example. Okay. There was a movement with some boards and discussions on having minimum or maximum times kids could be on buses.
Okay.
Or certain distances that kids could only be on the bus for. We're rural. Some of these kids are going to be on the bus for half an hour, 45 minutes, hour and a half maybe.
Right.
Well, why would you have a maximum for a rural district? So if they apply to maximum, suddenly you're now having to hire more bus drivers. Or you're having to have different schools because you have this maximum. And so suddenly how do you accommodate these kids? You tell them they can't come? You create another school. You say, no, I'm sorry, you have to get yourself to school somewhere.
And that was just one tiny example of the importance of of just local decision making.
It's knowing your area best.
Yeah.
And sure, maybe that means we can add more kids in some of a bus route in Raymond or Carson. But maybe that means we're going to have a longer bus route from the kids that are coming from Del Bonita.
Right.
Or those kids coming from Glenwood or, Spring, wherever they're coming from. So you really have to factor in what is so unique about your division. And that's local decision making. And I just want to just keep that going, right?
Yeah, I think that's super important.
Yeah. Again, it's just that filter you're running everything through. And then the third pillar, which is, I think, most people would not have a problem with any of them, but it's just transparency and accountability and good stewardship. We're given a certain amount of money. Yeah. And then it's up to the board. Just like as a counselor, it would be up to you to use those taxation dollars respectfully and reasonably and responsibly. The board has the grants that come in, and where are they using that money? There's a designated amount of money that a division is allowed to have in reserves. Okay. There's like a minimum and a maximum. Okay. And our division is very good about operating in that. They're really good. Fiscally, they're really responsible. But there are some divisions that maximize that. There's some divisions that go past. That's why that rule came in, is to say, no, you're only allowed to have so much in reserves. The funding that the government gives you needs to be used. Okay. And where do you use it? Overall, this division uses about 67 to 70% of all funding towards salaries. That's teacher salaries and EA salaries.
Okay.
What that means is only about 30% is going what we call administration, but that's everything. That's your schools, that's your rent, that's your insurance, that's your administrative costs, that's those salaries there.
Mm-hmm.
Transportation. So they're really quite good stewards.
Mm-hmm.
But just because you're good stewards doesn't mean you can't be better stewards.
True. Very true.
So you start to fine tune. If you only have so much money coming in,
mm-hmm.
where is the best use of it?
Tell me, what would you say are your superpowers?
Well, I can tell you what my kids might say. No, and it's funny because my kids say, well, I always tell my kids that my voice is my superpower. And just like all superpowers, I can use it for good or evil. So depending which side of mom you're on, you might get the good superpower voice, or you might get the I'll make you hear me in the back 40 superpower voice, right?
Okay, so as a school trustee, and this being your superpower, your voice, let's talk about that.
Like how you use your voice?
Yeah, how you would use your superpower, your voice, in this role.
That's a good question.
Because I'll tell you, like, what I know about you is it seems like you're very knowledgeable and you're very clear. Like you have a solid understanding of the system, and I really do feel like you are direct and that you could use your voice in a very positive way as a school trustee.
Well, thank you. I think it's important to be respectful when I use my voice. As a teen, I wasn't necessarily, so I strive to do that now. I don't like it when people call names. I don't like it when people say derogatory things. You can address issues in the system without making it personal.
Yeah.
And no system is perfect.
Yeah.
There's always, it's like a pothole. Don't complain about the pothole, fill it in. So you're not wrecking your suspension. No one else is driving over. Just fix the problem. You don't have to assign blame. And so one of the ways that I approach using my voice is to try to temper everything I say. Use discernment.
I think that's a super powerful tool is discernment, and using that in like how you are with people, how you speak to people, and just kind of having a knowing of the situation and what is best.
Yeah, I think it's good to have background information. That really does help. You can't go into these positions, I don't think, only having, well, everyone has a perspective. And I know that people like to say, well, my perspective is this, my perspective is this. But, and I'm not talking about empathy. That's something totally different. But I think it's really good to understand the system that you're working in, the parameters it's working in. Understand your rules of engagement and what you're there for. I think it's really important that you understand what your fiduciary duty is.
Okay, and explain that.
Well, it's the same thing that you're going to be required to understand as a counselor. So fiduciary duty is your legal responsibility to act in the best interest of who you're representing. So all boards, board of trustee, if you're a counselor, if you're on the board of a nonprofit, has a fiduciary duty, a legal duty to act in the best interest, not in your own personal interest. You decide your personal interest and you act in the best interest of the people you're representing or the entity itself.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So there's basically three parts to a fiduciary duty. You have fiduciary duty of care, which means you're operating in the best care, the best possible way, understanding that your decision-making has ramifications. So that would be the closest to parenting, that in locus parentis, what the Alberta Education Act, what the trustees act and what teachers act in, that what that means is in place of a parent, acting as a reasonable parent would be. So all decisions that a teacher, a division, the Alberta Education Act, those decisions are made just like a parent would act. A teacher would act like a parent would act. Not in replacement of them, but in the same reasonable way a parent would.
So you would be responding as a school trustee. You're basically the voice of the parents in this community.
Not just the parents, but the whole public.
Okay.
Your primary voice is the public. And then part of the public, of course, is parents. And then you're advocating for the public, for the parents, and for the students.
Mm-hmm.
But the students fall under mostly that duty of care.
Okay.
Then you have your fiduciary duty of loyalty. So in a board, you, as a trustee, I come in with my pillars, and I come in with my goals, and I come in with my vision. But at the end of the day, I'm part of a group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working in a team.
Yeah.
And my voice is not the only voice. And you safely have discussions within a board.
Mm-hmm.
You get to the marrow of an issue. And then you come to a decision. What the duty of loyalty means is that you honor that decision. So I can talk about my point of view. I can talk about why I made a decision or why I voted. But at the end of the day, you support the board's decision.
When you finally decided that
Yes.
you are like a cohesive, this is what we decided.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that doesn't mean you have to have consensus.
Okay.
Consensus is something totally different. And you seek consensus. That's your goal, is to get consensus. That which means everyone overall
Mm-hmm.
agrees with most of the principles. A high degree of agreeing. You can't have a high degree of agreement. Does that make sense? Oh,
I know what you're saying.
I speak good English. So, but it means if you were going to put it to a percentage, you're at the high. You're 85% none. You generally agree about most of it, not 50%.
Yeah.
Not a basic quorum. And so you have that same duty as a counselor.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I do.
that will fall on you, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then you have fiduciary duty of obedience, and that might sound bad, but it's really not. Everyone has rules, policies, procedures, regulations, laws that they have to follow.
Mm.
And what that means is all your decisions fall within those rules and regulations. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't make decisions that aren't discussed there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. So the cell phone ban.
Yes.
Everyone loves a cell phone ban, right? Everyone loves a cell phone ban.
Mm-hmm.
But that decision could have been made by the board independently.
Okay.
They didn't require the government to make that decision. They could have individually, as a board, put that policy and procedure in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where, the rules didn't not allow them to do that. The rules, they would have been totally within their legal rights to
Make a decision.
make a decision like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are those things that you would be bound by too.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course conflict of interest, all those little things that
Mm-hmm.
intersect. But those are your primary operating parameters.
Okay.
As a board. Now I get asked this question a lot: is what does a trustee do? What does a counselor do?
That is a great question. Hold on, just a second. This is yours. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What does a trustee do? And then after that, I want you to tell me why you are passionate about education, like why this is important to you. So let's do those two questions.
Okay.
So tell us what a trustee does.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about that.
So a trustee represents its community, but essentially they set the policies and procedures and the strategic vision for the board, for the whole division, for the schools.
Okay.
So think of it like, well, you don't have to.
I like analogies.
Okay, analogies are good.
Yeah.
So think of it as the board says, I want to go to Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
Then they hire the Uber, or in this case, the superintendent, to say, I want to go to Edmonton. You figure out how to get me there.
Okay.
So then it's the superintendent's job to take the board to Edmonton. So it's the superintendent's job to take the policies and procedures and the strategic vision that the board has set and then put them into practice.
And the superintendent would basically be your boss.
No.
Okay.
No. No.
Okay.
That's an emphatic no.
Okay. Clarify this.
Okay. So the board of trustees hires the superintendent.
Oh, okay.
Just the same as a town council would hire a CEO.
Okay.
So if you were to think of the board essentially has a single employee, and that's the superintendent.
Okay.
What the board doesn't do is hire the teachers. That's the superintendent's job. The
Okay.
board doesn't also interact or discipline the teachers. That
Mhm.
goes through the superintendent. It's like a chain of command.
Okay.
You hire the superintendent because you trust the superintendent. They have the skill set that they have, and they operate the system.
Okay.
Yeah. So just like the CEO would be in charge of all the town employees and the park staff, and they would hire everyone, and they would ensure that everything's operating smoothly, and then they would bring things back up this way. Think of the board as a governance board.
Okay,
They set the policy. They're not a working board.
Okay.
They set the policy.
Okay.
They say, we're going to go to Edmonton. It's up to the super to take them there.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, because I didn't know that, so now I do. I appreciate that information. Okay, so we're going to talk about now. So tell me, why are you passionate about education? Because I know that you are. This is a big passion for you. So
you can tell it by my loud voice.
Why is education important to you?
Why
are you passionate about it?
This is kind of a personal thing.
Okay.
So
let's get personal.
Let's get personal. I mean, as a child, school was my safe place. I grew up in a household that had a lot of emotions, big, loud emotions, dangerous ones. And school was the place where I didn't have to hide being smart. I didn't have to hide my voice. I didn't have to be careful about my voice. I mean, I learned temperance. I had to count to 10 before I was allowed to say anything in school. But it was the place where I got to shine. I didn't have to be anything else other than just a student. And so I love that aspect. So as I was raising my sons, I did everything I thought I was supposed to do. You were talking about why I love education and I'm passionate about it, but it's kind of intertwined with my love of homeschooling. I did what everyone is supposed to do. You put your kids into school, right? And then as my son, he's having difficulty, and I'm trying to work with the school, I volunteered all the time. I spent every day in his grade 1 class, helping the teacher, being with him. And then the day they wanted to put him in a class with kids who were nonverbal, when that wasn't his issue, I said, okay, there's something not quite right with how the system is working. So I pulled him out and put him in a private school. So I've kind of been through it all. I've had my kid in a Catholic school. I've been in a private school. And I've had them in public.
And isn't it beautiful, the options that we have?
Absolutely.
We have choices for our children depending on their needs. And I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that you would be an advocate of that.
Well, I think because I understand that some of how the different systems work. And it might sound weird that I'm a homeschooler running for public, but I'm also a homeschooler in the public system. This homeschooling division saved my family, saved my kid, and I'm not speaking hyperbolically. He was in such an emotional state, and it was so difficult when we pulled him out. I had a teacher say, if you loved your children, you wouldn't homeschool. And I'm like, I'm done. That's how strongly I believe that parents can make that decision. And how dare you tell me and he challenge my love for my child. So I came here, and all of a sudden, they're like, we're experts at this, man. We've been doing this since the early 90s. Door was open. They just welcomed us, and it was easy. And the facilitators, I love Chris Johnson and Shauna Hogaton. They would say, you've got this. You can do this. You are capable. You're doing a great job. They trusted us. They gave us that freedom, and they knew that I was capable of it. And so if I can do one thing for a parent, and I'll tell a homeschooler this or any other parent, is to empower them that you are capable. You're capable of deciding whether you want your kids in the mainstream public system. You are capable of deciding if you want to homeschool your child. You are capable of deciding if you want a blended program. You are capable of deciding to have them in the
private school,
or a charter school.
Yeah.
If you are capable, because at the end of the day, you were there from the beginning and the end. You are the alpha and omega in that life of the child. A brilliant local teacher told me that I will not teach anything to a student that I don't have a chance to correct later in life. That spoke to me. She honored the role that we have. She didn't want to mess with that. And honestly, this division really is like that. This division really does support parents. And you're going to ask me a question. You're going to ask me why I'm running.
Yeah, I am. Why are you running?
And I think that's really that thing. I'm running so that system keeps going. Mm-hmm. I'm running so parents continue to be honored. Because as great of a system we have now, you never know what's coming later. Mm. And you need someone to advocate.
Yeah.
We talk about superpowers, my voice. Well, yeah. I think my voice is my advocacy.
I love that.
I will stand up for a parent and I will say, you can do this. Mm-hmm. You have the legal right to do this. Mm-hmm. You should do it.
Mm-hmm. I love that, Toby. That's great.
Thank you.
I love the empowerment part of it, for sure.
Well,
and I think that
we second guess ourselves as parents, right?
Be brilliant at that. Yeah.
As moms, we carry all the guilt. We question everything we drink and eat when we're pregnant, whether we're, traumatizing our child in the womb, or traumatizing our child after. We carry a heavy load. We really do. As moms, we carry a load.
We do.
Yeah. And the last thing someone should tell you to do is you're going to wreck your child. You are not going to wreck your child homeschooling. You are not going to wreck them putting you in a public system. In a class of 30. It is okay. You can make the decision that is best for you and for your family because you know them best.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. It's wonderful. Okay, so I think last thing that we should clarify is Ward 5. That's our ward. Who can vote? Because we know people in Raymond can vote, but who's voting in this election?
That's a really good question. And a lot of people don't realize that if you're in the county, yes, you can vote.
Okay.
So the municipal election covers the reeves, which are in the county, and they cover the municipality in the town, councillors and mayor, and it also covers trustees. So in Western School Division, part of it is the county of Cardston and the county of Warner.
Okay. County of Cardston and Warner.
Not the entire, but part of it.
Okay.
So Ward 5, there are 2 positions and there are 3 people running.
Okay.
2 are incumbents. And then there's the newbie. That's me. I'm the newbie. And so the ward basically goes for almost all the way to the border. Did we talk about this? No, we talked about that at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it goes all the way for almost to the
not on
camera. We have so many good conversations off camera. It goes almost to the border, far south.
Okay.
Essentially to OK Colony. You can think of where it is. So past the ridge. Straight north a little bit past Raymond. Almost all the way to Welling. I know I'm using my hands. I'm getting you Cartesian, south, north, east, west. That's why you hold a coffee when you're doing a video so that your hands aren't everywhere. It's just what you're going to get.
Oh, you just put it down and then
you just put it down and then you got hands up in the air again. Hands in the air like you just don't care.
So, we're dating ourselves.
I know, right? So if you're in the county and you fit within the ward boundaries of the Ward 5 map,
okay,
you can vote.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's advanced voting. I believe it's at the town hall. It's hidden deep within the Town of Raymond website. If you go under vote,
you can find it.
You can find it.
Okay, that's good to know.
I know. With the postal strike, you probably aren't getting a notification of where to vote.
Right.
I know the postal strike. You would normally get that little card, and that card does not exist.
Get those.
No, you had to. I know you won't get it, and so there's a lot of confusion of where to vote. So, Town of Raymond, put out where people in the county can vote because it's just not townies who can vote. Those of us who live urban fringe can vote. Those of us who live far in the county can vote.
Okay.
County of Warner residents that are voting in their municipal election for Reeve, that's only a small little, well, it's not actually small, it's quite a large chunk of land, but that's near Warner. Cardston counties, they'll vote for their Reeves in their offices. So it's a little confusing right now, but October 20th is the day of the election. It's my birthday. It's a good omen.
Nice.
We're going to say it's a good omen.
You don't have to tell us what you're going to be.
I know. I am eternally 29. I have 60 years experience being 29.
Oh, my.
I'm so
You're good at 29.
I'm so old. It's all the filler.
All right. Thank you, Toby.
You're welcome. You're
I'm
welcome.
glad that we could have this chat, this interview, that
Thank you.
people could get to know you. And yeah, I think that you would be an amazing school trustee.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I love your pillars and your advocacy for parents. I think that's really, really important. And I think a lot of parents feel that way about their children. So.
Well, I don't think any parent, I don't want any parent to feel like they can't participate in the system. No parent should feel like a pariah entering their kid's school. No school should be off limits for a parent to enter.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and so if I had a goal, if I could pick one goal, would be, if I could pick one, it would be that schools really embrace and teachers really embrace that their parents are their advocates. Parents are a great asset. Engage with parents, bring them in. Parents will volunteer in the classroom. If you're trying to make a book list, ask the parents. If you're trying to, parents, ask your teachers, what can I do for you? Parents, engage.
I really like that. Yeah.
Go in and ask them, what can I do for you? And so a lot of times in high school, parents kind of doubt. Yeah, we're really keeners in elementary school, man. We're at the bake sales, we're at the fundraisers, we're in the classroom, we're cutting, we're pasting, we're doing all the things. But high school comes along and we kind of back off a bit, which part of it is natural. Transitioning, you back off a bit. But in fact, it's when our kids need us the most. Because kids are facing some really hard decisions. They're facing decisions that are going to have lifelong consequences. They're not looking at tattoos when they're in grade 1. They're not looking at having relationships with people in grade 1. They're not looking at their futures in grade 1. High school, they are. So that they need us even more, I think. They just need us in a different way. So
I love that.
Well, we get scared.
Profound.
Well, no,
like
but we think we back off, right?
Yeah.
But they need us even more.
Just in different ways.
Oh, recently, the ATA, the Alberta Teachers Association, had an AGM.
So this is the Alberta, not our.
No.
Okay.
The Alberta Teachers Association had their AGM, and what they do is they present resolutions, and their membership votes on resolutions.
Yeah.
And our division, Westwind, brought forth a resolution, which is in line with our culture and ethics and morality and our community. They understood our community. They understand the values that we have. And they brought it to the ATA, and the ATA voted it down.
Do you want to tell us what it was?
Sure, but I have to put on my old person glasses.
Yeah. It was about parent involvement.
Specifically about parents.
Yeah.
And honestly, this shocked me.
Well, when you told me, I was shocked. I was like, what?
I know. And
They did?
Yeah, and this just seems to be like we would consider like common sense.
Yes.
This is who we are, and how could you vote against
like
it?
who our community is.
It's
like the values of our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So and I get it. There's a lot of people there, and overall the association has to represent, and there's a lot to represent. But this is what our Westwind representatives, our union representatives. So it's nothing against unions, this is just what our union representatives said. Hey, this is important to us. Our union representatives, our local, brought this to the ATA.
Yeah.
And said, be it resolved that the association's default assumption be that the parent-child relationship is paramount, sacred, and that teachers will neither interfere with nor undermine that relationship. And it was lost.
And that's what Alberta decided. The
Alberta Association voted it down.
That is wild to me.
So what does that
That's
say is
happening
the
on a
opposite?
Provincial level.
That's at the provincial level.
Yes.
That is the whole organization, the whole association voted against the idea that the parent-child relationship is paramount and sacred, and that teachers will neither interfere or nor undermine that relationship. So what is the opposite of that?
Yeah, what is the opposite of that? Yeah.
Well, the opposite of that means is that it's not sacred. that is not special, that is not,
it's not paramount.
It's not paramount.
Yeah.
And that you will neither interfere. Well, the opposite is that you will interfere and you will undermine. Now, it doesn't say that, but that's what the opposite is. If you vote something, then you're saying the opposite. You either affirm or not. So if they're not going to affirm this, that the parent-child relationship is sacred, you do not mess with it. I am unapologetically parent-child relationship first. Parents are the primary decision makers of their child. I am not going to apologize for that. I am not going to put that aside.
That is your superpower.
Well, thank you.
That is your voice. And I love that. And I feel strongly about that as well. And I think that's important to a lot of parents. I hope a lot of parents are watching this and they hear that, and that this is very, very important to you. And you know that this is important to our community.
Yeah, it is. I think it's part of who we are. And I don't know that it's just exclusive here. And that doesn't mean that parents are the authoritarian figures and they're making every single decision for their child and they're coming down with a hammer and the child has to follow the law. That's not what that means. What it means is parents know their child best. There's no other relationship that is as intimate as a parent and a child. You spend the most time, should spend the most time with your child. I mean, you birthed them, or you adopted them, you chose them, and we choose to continue to be parents. It's like, don't mess with that. Wear that badge proudly. Don't let anyone take that away. Because that is the breakdown. If that happens, so when I say that that's my goal is parent engagement, this drives me.
This is your passion.
This is my passion, man. This is my mama bear. Oh yeah, this is my mama bear. This is the city of we're the champions, like town of champions, right? I am going to totally champion that. No, but it's true. It's so true that you just don't mess with that. That's taking your foundation away. Why would you intentionally put cracks in the foundation of your house?
Yeah, that is foundational.
It is.
Parent and child, like the parent relationship.
It is.
Totally.
It is, and absolutely, it is paramount to sacred. So I'm grateful for the local that brought this to the ATA. It takes a lot of courage to bring things to an association level. It takes a lot of courage to speak up for your division on the union level when you know that there's opposition.
Totally it is. Yes.
Yeah. And so I kudos to that local, to those who brought it. Because they really did understand. They're the parents here. Overall, I would say, and I say overall because I don't know every single teacher within the division, but I think overall, we have teachers that understand that. We have teachers that honor that. My hope is that gets continued. So if ever a time we're hiring a new superintendent, you want to ensure that superintendent carries those values, those same guiding principles, because they're the ones who hire the teachers. They're the ones having those conversations. I would hope that, the superintendent and at the board level, they have the conversations with the teachers' colleges saying, look, these are the ideals that we're wanting. We want our teachers to be subject matter experts. We want our teachers to understand that the parent role with their child is primacy. That's number one. And you don't mess with it.
Primacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number one. Yeah.
So that's why when I say that the board sets the strategic plan, that's part of that strategic plan. That's part of those, that guidance that the board sets. They set the vibe. They set how you make decisions, the boundary. And then the superintendent and the staff move within that boundary and operate within it. So that culture, that gets set by the board. And so I just want to continue that. I am loyal to the division. I love this division, but I want to see it grow. I want to see it flourish. I want to see it continue. I want to see other parents down the road be able to enjoy the same things that we've enjoyed. I want that ultimate division to always be there.
Yeah.
That parent choice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
it's funny. People again think that, how can you have choice in education? How can you support choice in education and support a public system? And I think plurality adds to the public system. I think they're parallel systems. It's not one or the other. But if education is the goal, then it's education is goal, and the parent, you get to pick your pathway. And we don't have to look at it as a zero-sum game. It's not Fight Club. It's not, it's not Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. 2 can enter, 1 will leave. It's not, right? It's education. Education is the goal. And so let's just have the best public system we have, and let the charter schools be the best they can have, and let the private schools be the best they can have, and let the third-party providers be the best they can have. At the end of the day, the parent gets to pick. So you get to glean what the other divisions, what the other systems are doing, and maybe you say, hey, I could do it that way. We talked about using our assets.
Totally.
And as a counselor, you're looking at what are my assets, because your asset isn't just the town of Raymond. It's the whole agricultural community that surrounds you.
Yeah, that you shared.
Right?
That it's not just the town of Raymond, but what do we have around us? What is in the county? What is already here in the surrounding area?
Well, the town is not an island. And the county is not an island. The town sits within the county, and the town is contained within the county. So the lady I was talking to at the coffee shop is Junction 52 is the best coffee shop. We're going to give it a shout out to Carrie in the Junction 52.
Yay, Carrie!
Yay, Carrie! Is that those of us, for example, who are in urban fringe, we have a choice of where we shop. Most of my business is done in Raymond. The Merc gets the majority of my business. My eye doctor's here, my health doctor's here, my chiropractor's here, my dentist is here, our school is here, home hardware is here, the auto parts store is here, the accountants are here. Everything is here. I can choose to either spend my dollars here, or I can choose to spend my dollars in Lethbridge.
Right. Yeah.
So the town isn't just the town. The town needs to understand that you have these assets around you.
The town services the county, the colonies. And the more assets and resources we have here, it doesn't just serve us.
Yeah.
It serves the surrounding area.
Yeah. Now, we might not be able to
Raymond to grow.
It does. It does. And you don't have to get bigger.
Right.
You can grow in different ways.
Right.
So the town doesn't have to lose its small town feeling. But you need to understand that those of us, we might not be able to make the decision in the county, but we're still part of the town, just in a different way. And so, as a town councilor, you're going to have to look at it's your advantage. It's an asset. Suddenly, you don't just have 3,000 people that you're representing or getting ideas from, but you have this huge community around you. You have tens of thousands of people that
who come here on a consistent basis and use our resources.
Adds to the economy.
Yeah, totally they do. And the more they do, it creates jobs and just opportunities and
that's what's unique about rural divisions and small rural municipalities. I got the word right this time.
Yay.
I just have to say it in combination. Is that they see that. So let's think about the opposite for a second. In an urban center, for example, EAs are pooled. And you're assigned a school.
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember you sharing this with me.
Yeah. So think of Calgary, it's 1 million people, it's an hour and a half from one side to the next. So you might be assigned a school, it's an hour and a half away. You have no connection to the community. You don't live in that community, you don't shop in that community, you don't know the kids, you don't volunteer in that community. You have zero connection. You only have connection to that individual school and that student at that time. Well, how do you develop loyalty? How do you develop long-term investment? Whereas here in a rural center, our teachers generally are also your ratepayers. They either live in the country, or they live in the town. So they don't just work here; they live here. They pay taxes here. Their kids go to school here. They access the services here. They volunteer here. There is a division in northern Alberta where they pay for a portion of their teachers' schooling.
They pay for a portion of their teacher's schooling.
from people who live in that area already.
Oh.
So what they do is they take the people, the human resources, the people that are already taxpayers, own houses, are invested in the community. They're not leaving that community. And they'll pay for a portion of those, generally it's women, to go to school so they can be teachers back in their rural community.
Wow.
Isn't that great outside of the box thinking? They're already invested. So rather than trying to attract new teachers in, I mean, there's nothing wrong. Bring new teachers in.
They're hiring
people that are already existing in their community.
To get trained and then to work
yes,
in their community.
Because they already own the mortgages. Their kids already came through the system. They're invested in it.
Yeah.
Who cares if they're not 22?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
what
awesome.
a great way of looking at your assets, your local assets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our EAs, they're people that are already from this community. Maybe their moms or their kids are now gone into school.
Mm-hmm. Lots of moms like that.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And so they know, and half the time they know those kids already.
They already know them.
So, I mean, they already have the relationship. They know those parents. They're invested in helping those children have success.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great asset. Let's build on that. Let's give them training. Maybe we do things differently where we're offering EA training through the summer or through little classes so when we know that those parents are going to get those kids eventually to public school, that they already have all the certifications and training they need and they can go right in.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe we do it in little bits. I mean, there's so many different ways you can look at the people in your community as assets. And if we know we need EAs and there's going to be new EAs hired, and we know that complexities in the classroom are changing, let's be proactive. Let's plan for the future and get these people trained already. Don't wait until their kids are already in the system. Train them before.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And that is something that could be presented as a board for our local area.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And those are things. That's how you engage your local community and you see them as assets.
Yeah.
And so you can do the exact same thing as a counselor. What are your assets?
Yeah, that's one thing that I want to look at. That is going to be and is a focus of mine, is looking at what we have here, the people, the resources, the industry, and then how else can we use this, or what can we do with what's already here and make it something even better?
Yeah.
Because it's already amazing to live in Raymond.
Yeah.
But what if we made it even better? Well, I really appreciate you spending some time with me today, having this chat.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, you're very welcome. And I love the passion that you have for education, and the parent advocacy. I think it's oozing from you. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think that you would be great.
No, this was really good. Thank you. I'm excited for what you're going to do for council. You bring a vibrancy. And the fact that you're trying to connect with people, I think is amazing. Often there's a disconnect between people who we've elected and who's elected them. And we forget that you're elected and you're representing people. And in order to represent them, you have to talk with them.
And understand what's important to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I am actually trying to make that a super big focus right now and talk to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Seniors and members of other churches and pastors from other churches and just as many people as possible in the community.
Yeah.
Just get a good idea of what is important to the people that live in Raymond. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Some more wonderful insight.
You're welcome.
From Toby.
I am full of wonderful
insight.
She is.
It's true.
My husband might disagree with you, but my kids definitely.
All right. Thank you for today,
You're welcome.
Toby.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.